Hey, have you got time for a 5-minute quickie? It's only 5 minutes, or a little bit longer. Have you ever heard of the word pickledom? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about. Getting in a pickle and then getting out of a pickle. What's a pickle? Well, you're going to have to listen to find out. Enter the world of pickledomness. Have a listen after this.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, my friend, just before we start this podcast, I know it's only a 5-minute quickie, but I'd already recorded it. I'd edited it, or I was in the middle of editing it. And you know what? I just got a feeling that, well, this wasn't good enough. I could have said, well, it's only a 5-minute quickie. It's good enough. But it really wasn't. I wasn't happy with the way I presented the content. I was swearing a little bit. And whilst I don't mind swearing, because I do swear, it just didn't come across right. So I thought to myself, do you know what? This isn't up to standard. So I re-recorded it. And this is what you listen to, well, hopefully you'll be listening to in a moment or two. And I hope you enjoy it. But it was just a little lesson learnt by me. And I just want to share it to you that, you know, when you get that little bit of intuition that things aren't quite right, listen, we've talked about who's listening to you, but listen to yourself. Because I listened to me, and I'm happy with this recording. But I'm happier in myself more because I stopped, took notice, and did something about it. Because it's my standards, no one else's. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you that because if you ever do get that little intuition, please do listen. It'll make all the difference. Anyway, let's get on with this. Well, it was a 5-minute quickie. It's a little bit longer now. Okay, have a listen. Hey, my friend, good day. Good day to you. I hope the day is good for you. And a 5-minute quickie. A 5-minute quickie to remind you of something, but also to get you to think of something and just wonder, well, does it really work? And maybe I'll give it a go. So what are you talking about, Cluffy? Well, it's a 5-minute quickie to just think of this. Here, come with me on a couple of scenarios, maybe 3, and see if they're shared experiences. I'm sure they are. But I want you to get you back into the scene. So, have you ever had this? You're working away on your computer. And on your computer, all of a sudden, the mouse is stuck. And you start to press all those keys, and nothing happens. Alt, Control, Delete, nothing happens. Nothing happens at all. And you keep bashing those keys. And the same one, Alt, Control, Delete, Alt, Control, Delete, Alt, Control. Oh, I'll try a different one. I'd look it up on the internet, but I can't because my computer's frozen. And you think, oh dear, what am I going to do? You might swear a little bit. I do. And I talk to my computer, telling it how unfriendly it is towards me, and this is not the right time to do this type of thing. It's not a game, it's not funny, and it's not big. Or it's not big and it's not funny. And then I do something. Here's another one. Have you ever, like when this is it, the Wi-Fi goes down. It could be on your computer as well, but the Wi-Fi goes down. And you look on your phone. No, the Wi-Fi's not working here either. Hang on a minute. I'll turn my Wi-Fi on and off. See what's happened. Turn it on and off, and it comes back. Not connecting. Wow, and we say those immortal swear words that we do, and then we go into another room. And we try again. And we take our laptop into another room. And we try again. Still nothing. And then if there's anybody in the house, you either shout to them in a very aggressive way, or, for me, I phone them and go, my computer's down. The Wi-Fi's down. What's happening? And they go, so's mine. I said, well, I've tried all the rooms and I've tried my phone. And they said, so have we. We've tried the rooms. We've tried in the phone, turn it on and off. Then we might phone up somebody. Here's another one. You're sitting at home and you're relaxing. And you're watching a nice film on your cable box. Whichever provider you use, you're sitting there and you're going, oh, this is gorgeous. I've got my wine. I've got my cup of tea. Got my little snacks. I'm settling down. And as I settle down, it freezes. And a little note comes up saying, your connection is not working. You go, what? I'm right in the middle of this. And you get your controls and you go backwards and forwards, and then you go to another program. Then you come back to the film and it just starts and it doesn't start. And the same note comes up. And then you try something else and that same note comes up. Oh. And you say some immortal swear words. And you're in a right pickle. Each one of those puts you into a right pickle. And a pickle is when you get overwhelmed and horrible and everything is against you. The world is against you. This film is against you. This cable box is against you. So what do? You phone somebody up. You phone your cable company up. You phone your Wi-Fi supply company up. You phone somebody who knows about computers. And what happens? What do? If you're phoning up somebody about your computer, then they might not have this, but the other ones have. They go, is this the appliance that we're dealing with? Please press 1. Is it a problem with your internet or is it a problem with something else? Press 2. And they go through all these blooming numbers and you're in a queue and then you get there and the first thing they do is, before we put you through to an operator, please turn off the appliance. Please turn off the Wi-Fi. Or your mate would say, hey, just turn your computer off. Unplug it. Just unplug it. And you do. You unplug your computer. You unplug your Wi-Fi box. You unplug your cable box. And you wait. Not a long time. They say 20 seconds. And what I tend to do, I count the 20 seconds. And I go 1. Jack in the box. 2, jack in the box. 3. And when I get to about 5, I start getting a bit faster. 6, jack in the box. 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I go really quickly till 20. And then I turn it back on. And the whole thing reboots. And guess what? My film's there. Guess what? The Wi-Fi's back on. Guess what? My computer is working perfectly again. Do you know what? I'm loving it. I feel so good. We're back in the world again. And the world is such a lovely place. Well, until the next time. Your computer freezes. Your Wi-Fi goes off. Or your cable box suddenly stops. But hey, guess what? We know what to do, don't we? No, we do the same thing until we're reminded. Reminded that unplug. To reboot. And that tells me something. Tells me something that we've talked about before, stopping and pausing, isn't it? That's what stopping and pausing does. It unplugs you from the problem. It allows you to reboot. And then when you come back, the world is wonderful. Now, what is that technically? Well, technically, it's a pattern interrupt. We're interrupting that pattern of frustration, of anger, of pickleness. And when you interrupt the pattern of pickleness, you go, and things just come back into order. Now, how do you do this in real life? You have to catch yourself. And as soon as you start getting overwhelmed, angry about something, feeling the whole world's against you, nothing is ever working, and the more you do, the more it doesn't work for you, the pickleness is at over 10 out of 9, you've got to stop. Unplug and reboot. How do you do that? Well, one way, and the best way I think is to leave the room. Go somewhere, go for a walk. If only for, not 20 seconds, because 20 seconds is okay, but if you're going to do it, just say, oh, sod it. I'm going to go and reboot myself for 5 minutes. I'm going to walk. I'm going to look up. I'm going to see the world. Maybe if there's a little patch where there's some trees and things, I'm just going to go and breathe and stand by some trees. Mother Nature. Or you could just breathe. And if you breathe in a nice way, which is effectively taking a nice gentle breath in, but making sure as you breathe out, that breath is just a couple of counts longer than the in-breath. So if you breathe in for a count of 4, just allow the breath to come out for a count of 6. Knowing that the breath will come back in again. You don't have to think about breath coming in. Breath will always come in. And you just let it come in for the count of 4. And then you concentrate. Really be mindful of breathing out for the count of 6. Or you could just, if you can't do that, and who can't breathe? Everyone can. Or you could do some squats, some press-ups, anything. But again, come back to your breathing, come back to your breath, come back to the world around you. Be grateful that you have this moment. Have this moment just to be with you. This is a present of the presence. Or presence of the present, whatever it is. But it's just being you for a moment or two now. Knowing that when you go back, you'll have rebooted. And when you've been rebooted, the world is different. And you'll go back, and if it was a problem, you'll see it differently. If you go back, just before you go back and start to try to solve that issue or whatever, just ask yourself a few questions. Is this something that I can control? Because if it isn't, you've got to dump it, haven't you? Do something else. If it's something I can control, how can I control it? What would be the best use of my skills? What's the best use of my time? What's the best use of me? Is there somebody I know who could help? Is there somebody I know who's done this before? Have I done it before? If I did, what did I do? What would be the best thing to do right now that would make the most significant difference? And you just ask yourself those questions and wait for your unconscious mind to pop up with the answer. Because it will. Because you've interrupted your pattern of frustration, of anger, of overwhelm, of pickledomness. And it's as simple as that. And that's what this 5 minutes quickie is all about. It's just a reminder that we have these wonderful processes of interrupting patterns. They work. We use them in therapy all the time. So this is a natural thing to use. So naturally, it'll work. And the more you do it, the more you know it's going to work. And the more you do it, you take that time. Just to be with you, be with your breath, be with nature, be with air. Even if you just wander around the room or different rooms where you are, the offices, and just look at things and get grateful. Grateful for being alive, grateful for being here, grateful for the person who made that computer that froze. But knowing that when you come back, something's going to be different. Thank you for this problem. This problem is going to make me stronger. I'm glad it's happening because I'm glad it's going to make me stronger because I'm going to learn more. And then we change that way. Because when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. I love that saying, don't you? I'm going to say that more often sometimes. More often. I'll look at it differently, because the more differently I look, the more it'll become different. And so will you. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Have a quick think about it. But just remember, even if you put a sticky tab on wherever you normally are, if these things happen in a place, to go and just write. Cluffy said unplug, reboot and breathe. There you go. That's your 5-minute quickie. I'm glad you had time for a 5-minute quickie. And I thank you for your time and the 5-minute quickie. Remember, if there's anything you want, anything you need to be reminded of, you need a process to help you with, send me that email. Just give me a few bullet points and I'll send you something personally, and we'll get something organised. And please share this. Even if you share it to say, look, I learnt this little, I can see you're getting a little bit pickledom. And in your pickledom, I'm going to show you how to get out of it. Because I learnt this with a guy called Cluffy on his podcast. Oh, you want to know about the podcast? Let me share it with you right now. We always get there, don't we? Anyway, enjoy, please share, and let me know by sharing your comments, your critique, the things that you might need to help you get through this wonderful life and make it even more wonderful. So until the next time, my friend, have more fun than you can stand and enjoy every heartbeat. Okay, bye-bye now.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.